As soon as I hit live, my camera goes blurry. I hope that goes away because I don't really want to start this all over again. I want to see all your smiling faces. Come on now. Well, let's see if this goes away. Maybe if I get a little brighter with the light here. There we go. That's a little bit better. So last time we were on, I did cover the fact that I was going camping. I did go camping and had a lot of fun. In fact, I have a map open. I stayed right here. A friend of ours wanted to shoot a music video in the woods, so we chose right here to shoot a music video. It's just him spinning records. It's not like it was some giant band with drums and amps and guitars stacked real tall. It was a couple turntables, amp, and mixer and whatnot. But I've mentioned this spot before. It's a great place. FH7, down the little trail, stay underneath the trees right in here. You get a lot of shade. Great place. So that's where we were camped out at. Before I go into more detail about the camping itself, I thought I'd share some of the news, give people a chance to kind of tune in, catch up, whatnot here. So the new restrictions were, actually I gotta share this, that's right. Okay, so we go like this. Screen share. Applications, here, share. And then we go here. So they've reissued some new, about the closures. They've put out something, I'm not sure what, a forest order. There's still some places that are going to remain closed. So if you read through, it says entering or using a developed campground listed in Exhibit A. So in other words, if it's listed in here, you're not supposed to be there. They took out the any portion thereof. They've reworded it again differently. Is what it is. I guess they don't have rubber stamps. It's fine with me. Down here at the bottom, they have these campgrounds listed that are still closed. Navy Campground, Oak Flat Campground. You know, personally, they're swell, but those are a couple I'm not going to miss. Matheson, I would like to try and book that spot. So I was a little sad about that one, but it is what it is. I do have a link to this and the other tabs I'm going to be showing you already in the comments. So feel free to check those out if you need to now, or feel free to reference them again later. Moving along, so this is the first, or the most recent one that came out, and this came out after they had already released this one, which was more recently, or not more recently, but fairly recent, where they go in and they discuss the ones that are open, OHV trails, different campgrounds, and then they specifically mention at the bottom some that are still closed. So if they're still on the closed list, still on the other closed list, they're obviously closed, but if they're on this is open and they're on the other one as not on the other one is closed, you're golden. So a lot more stuff is opening up. This also, there's a link for this in the description. So if you need to reference this again later, not a problem. But between the two, you should be able to determine where you're able to go right now and not get in any trouble, because that's no good. You don't want to be that guy. Moving along. So the fire stuff. I wanted to touch on this. One thing that I learned that was a pretty valuable little point the other day was when you can use a propane fire pit or a lantern, any such device that runs on some sort of liquid fuel, pressurized or not pressurized, and I'm sure there are exceptions to that. I'm just thinking off the cuff here. You do need a fire permit for those, but you are allowed to use them even during the fire restrictions, provided you clear the combustible materials away in accordance with your forest order. You can now have those as long as it has a shut-off valve. So the tank or a regulator, if you can shut it off, you can use it. You do need a campfire permit to have even a lantern, unless it's LED. Thought I'd throw that part out there. So anyway, it does list that down here. Here's a bunch of fuels that see, I could have gone into it, but it's all right here. Portable campfire pit, stove or lantern that uses gas, kerosene, gel petroleum, or pressurized liquid fuel. Again, this is in the description, so if you need to reference it and read it yourself, it's in there. You can click it, click away. I find this one to be a lot more confusing than last year's. Last year's was a lot easier to understand and digest. The other thing that I learned before I forget is when they talk about developed, I can't highlight this, it's PDF, developed recreation site. Those are listed in the Mendocino National Forest website. That's not just a spot that the ranger pulled up and placed a fire ring or somebody walked up and made a fire ring, those don't count as developed recreation sites. So make sure you cross-reference the whatever area you might be going to. Because right now, if you want to have a fire, you're going to have to go to a campground, basically. Go look through their list of campgrounds and look for the developed recreation sites, and then you can still have a campfire, even currently while we're in fire restrictions. So go stay in a campground. There's plenty of them listed. This time of year, it's still not that warm, so there's a lot of the, let's see if we can go back to that list. A lot of these campgrounds are still going to be very unoccupied, for lack of a better word. So here's a bunch that are open. There's not a lot of people out there. I was just up near Plesket Meadows. Is the easiest place to find on the map, is near where I was just staying. I showed you on the map here. We'll zoom out. So I was at the red pin, and there's Matheson, which is still closed, in Plesket Meadows. I stayed here, and the weather was unreal. It was basically the mid 40s the entire trip. It got down to 38, it got up to 52, but it mostly stayed right around 45 the entire time. There were portions of the trip that we couldn't even see the edge of camp. 35 yards was the max. This was so socked in with fog and wind. The fog was collecting in the trees and then dripping down on us, which wasn't a big deal. I have a box trailer, so I don't care what the weather's like. I'm going to be dry. I'm going to be warm. I had the Mr. Buddy, so we were golden there. We did have, it sounded like it rolled through the valley, which would be over in here, an electrical storm blow through on Friday. That was really awesome. Granted, it hadn't rained, and we were in moderate fire danger, so that was kind of keeping me from thoroughly enjoying it. But it was really cool to listen in camp and just hear that thunder rolling through without it raining. Without the rain, that's one of the important things for me there. So let's see here. Again, this is where I was staying. I stayed here because we wanted to shoot a music video right here. I got the nothing very elaborate. It was the generator and a couple of speakers and turntables, but it made for a great backdrop with the cameras facing all the trees, and the skies were just beautiful at certain points. We had to be very selective, though. It was real difficult to film in because it was either windy, foggy, or raining. So it was like, set up, quick set up, and let's get filming, and then we'll get back to it. And with that, I just realized I don't have the I don't have the chat open, so I thought I would make sure and say hello again. Dylan and Daniel unfortunately couldn't make it this evening. Daniel Dempsey is hoping he might chime in later, so that'll be great. But Dylan Riggs got called into work, so I'm on my own on this one. So glad to see some comments coming in already, because it helps the juices flow, as they say. Hey Dylan, how was your trip? You getting lucky enough to give you some snow? So it snowed 100 feet above us. Where we were, we only got rain. But just on the ridge above us, they got a little dusting of snow. I was jealous because I really wanted to wake up to a dusting of snow. I don't mind the pitter-patter of the rain on the metal roof. I think it sounds really cool. But no, we didn't get any snow, unfortunately. Everywhere else we went, we did go to Anthony Peak. There was no snow up there, none to be found anywhere. So there is that portion. So let's see here. Where do we leave off? Before I forget, so we stayed here, and before I forget, I thought I'd mention that they're going to start selectively logging this area. When I left, right here was parked an excavator that's designed for taking out trees. They had been doing some sort of work. Let's see here. Oh, I have that on another pin. We'll come up to that in a little bit. They have been doing some selective cutting in this area. I'm not sure how big the permit they have allows them, or how big an area it allows for them to harvest in. But from what I understood, they were going to start doing this today, right in through here. Again, selectively logging, not clear cutting. And if we go on long enough, I have some pictures to show you of that. But yeah, right in through here. I'd mentioned before that this past season, if you will, because I don't know when it fell, but between when I was there in October and when I was here when the snow melted, so April, There was a tree had fallen across here. Well, that's been since cut, and now there's a easy access to get in through there. So there's a couple of quick little updates. But again, yeah, they're doing selective logging in through here to reduce fuel load, and I think it's mostly for fuel load. So anyway, let's check in with the here. Oh, I didn't share that. My bad. I am so, oh no, it's going. I am so confused with this stuff. I've done this like 6 times. I'm still having trouble. So thanks for commenting. Again, if you're watching, a thumbs up helps a lot. Subscriptions are fantastic. Comments are good too. Helps lead the show. I do have some stuff to go over already. I did cover some new roads that I wanted to share. So we covered the fire restrictions. We've covered campgrounds. Alrighty. So as I said, we're staying here. Oh, okay, here we go. So we found some tailings of, I guess they're called tailings, bark and whatnot down in here. So we were camped over here, but since we heard this beep, beep, beep reverse sound of heavy equipment all day for 2 days, it was not loud. It was really easy to tune it out. Please don't get me wrong. They were down in here somewhere, but down in here we found a whole bunch of tailings. They had definitely stripped off bark and cut some trees. Very few trees were cut considering how much bark and stuff they had on the ground. The other thing I was noticing as I was placing this pin right here is some sort of pond. I knew this was here last time I was up here, and I did fly the drone around quite a bit, but because of the height of the trees and signal and whatnot, I was not able to find that because it's kind of hard to keep visual line of sight of a drone when you're down inside trees when you're sending it several thousand feet away in the trees. So somehow, some way, I want to find that spot. Maybe it's a seasonal pond. I don't know. I'm ambitious. These locations, this location you're seeing right now is where the pin is dropped. I dropped it because I was curious if it showed the road that we took to get down there. This is the one we usually go to get to camp. This time we drove down here, and I was hoping it would show the other roads to get over to here. There were quite a few roads in here that were not a lot of fun to navigate in our full-size truck, but it did it. Just turning around was a real bear. So these coordinates are in the description if you'd like to find this spot. It isn't so pretty though. It's not where I'd go stay. I just wanted you to be able to re-reference where I'm talking about. Let's see here. So moving on. So we found this. This is a cool little campground. This one's off of 22 November 25, 22N25, right off FH7. So here's FH7, comes around, and right in here is this little campground, or campsite, sorry. There's a fire ring right here, there is a park bench right here, and someone's built an outhouse. Now it's like an RV toilet. I did not open the lid inside, but they've got it framed with 2x4s and some metal corrugated siding. It's kind of cool. All right, lots of parking. You could have this definitely. If this were, if you were looking to dispersed group camp, you could do it here. Lots of room. I do have some pictures. We did film a little short video right here. I got some aerial shots from the drone, some kind of sideways looking in shots. It's an all right spot. It's again, if I was going with a group of people, it'd be one on my list to consider. If I'm going alone, though, no, a little dry, a little dusty. You're also, as you can see, on the edge of a bluff, and that's where you get a lot of wind. So that makes me a little less excited about this location, but I found it, thought I'd share it. This location of the coordinates are in the description, and are in the description of this video on YouTube, so you can pull it up there. Definitely a spot worth checking out. That's for darn sure. It's right off of, I'll zoom out a little bit. It's right off of FH7. I'm sure a passenger car could make it there. I'm trying to remember, but I think that was one of the ones that you could make it in a passenger car if you wanted to. I know the Subaru would make it no problem whatsoever. We finally made it through telephone camp also. Yeah, I'm trying to think of words for it. For one, it's not an official campground, by the way. It's something somebody kind of made, if you will, but has become known as a campground. And trying to think of my thoughts. It's an interesting place. There's a fire ring, there's a table, there's a couple other spots where people have definitely stayed. They got some upright poles. Someone has taken a nice long pole that's maybe 20 feet. They even notched it to sit on top of the. While I'm talking here, I should check the comments again. They notched the log and nailed it to form make an A-frame, if you will. So you can put a tarp across it, stake down the two corners, and you got yourself an instant tent with just a tarp. Perfect idea. Someone had used some baling string from hay bales, made it as a clothesline. There were even clothespins on it, so perfect. You want to dry your clothes, great. A little hot, a little dry. Not a whole lot of campsites, if you will, because it's not a true campground. There's only a couple fire rings. There's a lot of area to roam. If you wanted a spot to kind of let the kids walk around, you can see them real easy and real well around in here. A neat kind of view. I took some pictures and video. Where was it? One of these rock outcroppings. I don't know, maybe down in here somewhere. The thing that really tripped me out, though, is there's a fence that runs through here. Does it show up on here? It runs like right through here, but it's this decrepit old thing with barbed wire. It's not. It's not even a single piece is not attached to the post, so I don't know how it would deter anybody. And then when we came in, there's also a gate. I'm not sure where it is on here, but there's a gate we came through. It was open. So I'm a little perplexed about this spot. Is this just something several people over several years thought they'd establish and turn into a campground? I don't know. But we'll try and get up a video right away of that one, because that one is not going to have all these rippling text and whatnot. 8 different cameras that make things a little more difficult. So this road here we had never taken before. 22 and 27 is what it says on here. Let's zoom back and start from where we started at, though. So we called this now the Hump Trail. This is what we decided to call it. So we were camping here. It's taking forever to load. We came back up the hill and then headed back towards FH7. Then we found this road right in through here. Right here, there's a berm to divert the water. So we called it the Hump Trail. But we took this all the way through to where, there it goes, to where it connects back with FH7. That's a fun trail. Great trail to go on if you've got something. I would do it. Subaru would be the minimum. I wouldn't do it in anything smaller, shorter, and less equipped. But anything like that, if you're new, you drive a Subaru or a Toyota 4Runner or something, or an FJ, or sorry to leave all the others out. If you're new to driving, check this trail out. This trail is awesome. It's not gonna push your limits too hard to where you're going to hurt yourself, but it's near the edge. It's got some great views. It's got some good terrain for the driver to have some good fun on. Super easy to access. If you're in this neighborhood, I definitely recommend checking out 22 N. N is in November, 27. A lot of fun, absolutely. And then this other one we were just talking about that joins up right next to it. I had it written down, and of course in my full page of notes I've lost it. But this is kind of a fun run too. And then as I've talked about a few times before, this other one that's not even listed goes down to the water spring, which I do have the 2 videos of. And this time I brought home, I think we did the math at 38 gallons of spring water. It was delicious. And while we were there, we took a shower. Both Pepper and I took showers each in spring water. It feels really good. I really enjoyed it. And not having to worry about running out of water like the last time we came up. We had to haul our own water. We did pretty much run out. We had plenty of food and plenty of fuel. We just low on water. So besides, a week in the woods, that's a pretty long time anyway. So link to this spot that I was just talking about right here for camping. This location is in the description. So you can copy and paste it into Google Maps. You'll come up with this. Hopefully soon we'll have something up. As you can see, someone's had something rather large set up. Looks like an RV with a tarp set up and an awning. And then there's another RV over here. The toilet I was talking about is kind of over in here. Again, I didn't open it up, but it's plenty big enough that if you wanted to bring your own little like RV toilet or whatever, you plenty of room in there. So again, I'm going to switch back over since I'm alone this time. I don't have somebody watching the chat. I'm going to switch over, check that out, and then we'll move on to the next discussion here. Okay, so Carlos, hey. Making an open group. Oh, yes, absolutely. we were talking about that while on this trip, doing an open camping trip. Actually, pretty much any one of the trips. Hey, Johnson, what's up? Yeah, I got this. All right, thanks. Any trip I go on, pretty much anybody's welcome to at least come by and say hello. Or come by and, hey, can you help me find the dispersed? I'm not very familiar with dispersed camping. Can you help me find a spot? I would be glad to help guide you around, and I'm not going to spend all day doing it, but I'll spend a couple hours with you driving around and reassuring you that, yes, you can stay here. Yes, it's legal. Here's some of the do's, the don'ts, and answering your questions. And theoretically, if you get cold feet real easy, I'll give you one of my radios. You can call me if you get in trouble, and I'll come over and say hello, as long as you're within reception. Because a lot of these radios, they don't bounce. Since we're not ham operators, we can't use repeaters. So that's within line of sight. So Carlos, I'm about to read your second comment, but yes, anytime I'm out, come say hello. We're thinking 2 to 3 weeks of doing a camping trip where we encourage children to come, and then I'm hoping about a month to do one. Hopefully everything opens up enough to let anybody and everybody come. Let's just have a big giant meet and greet, and have a few maps ready to go of, let's check out this road, that road. Pepper and I have already started planning that out, of being able to hand people a map and say, here you go, have fun for the day. This is the route you want to be taking, and know that they're going to enjoy themselves and have a good day and see a lot of cool things. We are going to have that happen one way or another as soon as possible. By the way, on the M4 going up towards Anthony Peak, northbound, there's a lot of ditches. On the map, there was 2 routes that were labeled M4, and we took the Under Valley route towards Sugar Springs. Yeah, Sugar Springs, that's a great campground. I was just up on the M4. I'm going to allude to a different part of the M4, or talk about the part of the M4 here in just a moment. I was on a new section I hadn't been on yet, and that was awesome. I loved it. I had a great time driving it. It's hard to say on a skill level of 1 to 10 because we're all different. We've all got different abilities. We've all got different vehicles. But I was definitely having to plan my pathways and turn into the ditch and then straight up the ditch to keep from bottoming out. So we'll get to that one in just a moment, though, I promise you. Tom. No, I'm switching between the maps, Tom, in and out. So hopefully they are showing up. I did tell it to screen share, but at any rate, I'll hit screen share again here in a moment. So I just wanted to answer the question. So if you had beer and food, I'd probably hang out a little bit longer, although I'm not a huge drinker, but yes, I would hang out, Johnson. Of course. I've been asking you to come out with me forever. What, a couple of years now actively? Yeah, so Tom, we went back to that same spot you did, and it was super foggy, super cold, raining. We did find your chair, or whoever's chair that was. We did find it. It was not great. We stayed there because we needed to for the film shoot. It was the best place to stay, but oh man, it was windy and foggy and terrible. So anyway, let's go back to the map. I'll show you a few more places. So we're gonna go screen share, here, share. Alrighty. So again, we just talked about this little spot right here. Link is in the description to these coordinates. It is right below Telephone Camp, which again is not an official campground. It's Telephone Camp. It's basically got a couple fire rings, a couple places to throw a tarp up over a pole and have a place to sleep. 22N27, 2 thumbs up on another road to go check out. Lots of fun. It's not very long, but there's a couple of vistas along here that are really, really pretty. And it's a good place to learn how to drive off-road. Switching over, what do we got next? So here we go, the M4. Anthony Peak was just up here. It's unboarded right now. They took all the boards down. The view was, we went up there and it was pretty windy, but that meant for a really clear day. You could see the Central Valley, no problem whatsoever. But while we were up there, actually, no, the previous day, we decided we were going to take the M4 from FH7, take the M4 up up. And then we decided we were going to join up with the M2 and take the M2 and try and go to Buck Rock. We ended up not making it to Buck Rock. Not because we couldn't make it. We just decided to turn around. It was late in the day. But on the way back, we took this part of the M4. And it says no trailers right here for a reason. This section of road right here is a lot of fun to drive on. If you're looking to go slow and kind of make your passengers a little nervous, this is a great road to do it on. I had a fantastic time driving this road. We did it in our stock 2500 HD, no problems. But I certainly wouldn't send the beginner driver down there in a basic car. No. But if you are in a Jeep or a 4Runner or something, or Subaru, absolutely. This is a lot of fun. See if you can find a way to make it a loop. Go up the M4, over to the M4 by Sugar Springs, and then back down to the M4, and then up to Anthony Peak. Yes, definitely. Then end your trip at Anthony Peak. Yeah. There's remember, or note, on your way up to Anthony Peak, there's a couple of turnoffs that go out onto like a little finger on the bluff, and you can go out to those, and the view is 270 degrees. It's not as good as Anthony Peak, but it's absolutely amazing. And there's one on either side too, so you get one side of the mountain and the other side of the mountain. Fantastic location. So while we were out, though, one thing I thought I'd mention is these M-Roads, these are not OHV approved, and we did see people on non-plated bikes riding around. We saw evidence on the floor, and then we saw them twice on FH7. I'm not here to shun them. I'm not here to turn them in. I didn't take any pictures of them or document them in any way, shape, or form. Just want to remind people we're not supposed to ride on there, and there is a reason for that. And let's not have a few bad apples spoil the whole bunch, if that makes any sort of sense. So before not before. So another thing I should cover right here, we were just talking, Tom, about you guys got snow when you stayed here, and I got fog and rain. You're in a microclimate. I did my best to do my diligence to find out what the weather was going to be like when I was up there, but there's no towns up here. Let's zoom out. Covelo, there you go. There's a town. It's virtually impossible, and the weather in Covelo was drastically different. So the weather in Covelo was in the mid-60s and 70s while we were up there. No real clouds. But when we get up here, we had clouds almost the entire time, and it was cold, super cold. Granted, I believe this is, north facing? So you're not going to get as much sun. No, that's not north facing. But anyway, you don't get as much sun. So microclimates is my point. Do your best to do your planning for sleeping bags, for warm clothes, socks, the food, your diet, the drinks you drink. If it's cold, you're going to want more tea. If it's hot, you're going to want more tea, iced tea kind of thing. But when you go here, you got to be careful because you can't really predict what it's going to be. So when I packed this time, I packed a windbreaker, I packed a thick coat, a thin coat, and then I not only packed swimming shorts, but I also packed long johns. So fortunately, when I got up there, I never used the swimming shorts, but I did use all the long underwear. I used my my longer sleeve shirts, I used my thicker coat and my windbreaker, and then when it was nice out, I just took off the thicker layers and just had on my long sleeve shirt, and I was okay. But the weather was kind of like this. Up at this high near these tall mountains, like Anthony Peak is 7,000 feet, you get microclimates. So pack with a wide array of gear, from not super cold to not super hot. One thing that caught our friend off guard this time was his sleeping bag was rated to 40. And I said, well, that's great, but that means it's going to keep you alive at 40. That does not necessarily mean it's going to keep you comfortable at 40. So when you're looking at sleeping bags, make sure to check whether the tag, the temperature on the tag is that going to keep you alive, or are you going to keep you comfortable at that temperature? Our sleeping bags that we use, the coldest ones, they say -25. The warmer ones say 40. The 40 ones, I'll use them in the summer and still sometimes get a little bit cold. But the -25, so we ended up doing was taking his colder sleeping bag and putting it under us, and our -25 on top of us, letting him use one of our -25s, and he was okay after that. Also, the tent that he brought, great tent. It's Coleman, brand name. Problem is, when that fog came in and that wind came in, the wind picked up his rainfly and was sending the fog through his tent. Everything got soaked. Not from raindrops, if you will, but just from humidity and water moisture passing over it. So we ended up throwing all of our gear in the trailer and turning on the Mr. Buddy heater and leaving the door ajar to warm stuff up and dry it out. And it worked. He ended up sleeping in the trailer with us on his bed, and it was packed, but we all stayed warm and dry. So microclimates, check your sleeping bag tags. Make sure that they're, is it keep you alive or keep you warm, or are you going to be comfortable, kind of thing. Also, one thing I wanted to talk about real quick was remind the people that might be watching this live stream as new to camping. Washboard. There were a couple times that I hit washboard coming down and towing. It kind of causes you to go like this. It's not real safe. But I've also seen new drivers. I watched a guy do it in a two-wheel drive Nissan pickup truck. Around a turn, he hit it too fast, and it just basically right off the side of the road. We ended up spending the next 3.5 hours dragging his truck up over the hill with some winches and cables and chains. And we got him up and got him out, and he was fine. But the washboard, watch out for washboard, because I am finding more and more people are coming out from the cities. The last time I was out, I ran into some people from Hayward. Fantastic. That's great. Glad to see you. Please come say hello and introduce yourself. I'd love to meet you. Just be careful. Washboard, as long as you're going slow, not a problem. But if you're going fast, you can't slow down on washboard. You can't steer on washboard. So with that said, I'm going to pause for a moment just to switch back over and check on the chat, say hello to everybody, so on and so forth. And we go here and go remove. Here we go. Yeah, nearly died. Yeah, those videos were hysterical. I showed them last week of you guys saying you're going to eat each other because of the snow. That was funny, like that. I did notice. Yeah, that's actually the M4, Carlos. Lots of ditches from the springs, but that's part of what made the drive for me so unique and so much fun. I had a great time driving that one, and I would highly recommend anybody who's got a little bit of skill testing it out or breaking their cherry. That's a great spot. I'd love to do it again. Your first choice is no bueno weather-wise. Do I have a plan? I always have a plan B. We're dispersed camping. We can stay wherever we want. So here's a hypothetical. A plan B from that spot I was just talking about where I just stayed. Yes, I can come up with a plan B from right here. So actually, wait. Let's see here. So if I needed a plan B, I like this spot because it's so, I'm going to zoom out kind of slow so I'll make people sick. There's so much to do out here. So many inroads. And there's spring water right there. The 22 and 11 where you go to Black Butte and Keller Lake, all these different places. And I know Brian's watching this going, you need to go further east, further east, further east. Come into my neck of the woods. I hear you. I'm going to. I like that spot. So I am not going to stay there a bunch of times. Again, we only stayed there because we needed it for the photo shoot. But if I was here and needed a spot real quick, I'd just continue down this road a little further, the same road, because this is camp. I just continue on down, and down in, right around in here, there's a little spot to camp right in here. It's actually almost in a little bowl, and the trees are really tall and really thick, so the wind's going to go mostly right over you. Now, if it's raining or really foggy, it might drip on you, but at least you get rid of the wind, and the wind is what really got to me. Windbreaker helped a lot, but it's not everything. It doesn't help everything. I did go check out the spot in my videos called Big Dove, and on the map it's called Oak Knoll. That was already taken. So another, actually, this might be plan, it'd be hard to say. This would probably be plan C, I guess, right here. There were people staying here when I was there last weekend. Right here's a cool spot. When I did the drone flyover, I was flying from right there. The nice part about this is the top of the mountain is right here. So the wind comes up and over, and actually has to go over the trees too. It has to clear all this to get to you here. So this is actually a lot less wind right in here. Or you could go down, we've talked about, this is where all those elderberries are, is right in here. You can camp right here. This one's not so pretty. This one still has that feel of like, okay, I'm camping. Right now, this is extremely green, really green and lush. Again, they're logging it though, so this might change when it's time I go up there. But as it sits right now, this would be another spot I'd consider is right here for sure, because it's tucked in. You're kind of protected. Other than that, I just go out and explore. My problem being though, and I understand and alludes more to your question of Plan B. I drive with a trailer, so if my spot's not available, I gotta not only tow the trailer further, but I gotta find a way to turn it around. And sometimes I don't have, pull-offs to turn around. I've had to back into some crazy places with the trailer and tweak it a little bit here and there just to get it to turn around. But so down past that campsite or right here, these are both cool spots. This one might be a little better, but at the same time, that one's really private. You're probably not going to see another car down in there. So that would be my plan B and C for that area without spending much time thinking about it. So let's switch back over, check the chat, and this. Okay, Tom, so you're the most recent comments. We're caught up. Again, people, if you're watching, please, a thumbs up means a lot. Comments, awesome. Subscriptions are even better. If you've got a spot that you really like or enjoy and would like to share, the best way to for us to all learn is for us to work together and share locations. I'm not asking you to share your favorite place that you don't, you only take your select friends to and you don't want to show the public, but maybe you have that place that is you don't mind sharing with the public. The more we share, the better, the more we discover, right? Forgive me, as I'm really thirsty and I'm trying to buy myself a second drink. Spring water, by the way, num. Limited to, I don't know, I think we've got 50 gallons here currently. Not much. So where were we? Which tab? So we go back to screen share. Here, share. So we covered the M4. Telephone Camp, as I said, is a cool place. Definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth checking out. 22 and 27, definitely a road worth having going on and learning, or going out and just checking out the view. If you're out there with a significant other, this would be a spot I would definitely take them on and be like, hey, check this out. So trying to think back through. Oh, there were a couple pictures I wanted to show up. Let's see if we can do that real quick. Here. So this is a sign that says Simpson Camp. This is nailed to a tree pretty high up where we were camping. Not sure that it was necessarily established in 1882, but hey, whatever. Looks cool, right? Here's the water spring. If you haven't seen it already in my videos, hopefully it's going to wake up here. But look at that. Yum, tasty. That's what I'm drinking right here. Came out of that piece of pipe yesterday. All right. And then, so I was telling you there's a big treating machine up there right now. Yeah, there you go. There's your treating machine. That arrived there yesterday. It was somewhere in the forest before that. We could hear it, but I've never seen anything quite like this before. The cab actually articulates forward and back, left and right to level the cab out when you're sitting on an unlevel surface. Never seen that before. Let's see here. Oh, so I've mentioned this before. The Forest Service does a weather briefing over the radio, and if you have your radio tuned in at 10 a.m. or 4 p.m., which is the times I'm told it's at, but it was at 11 a.m. the other day, so I'm not quite sure how that all works. They'll give you a forecast for Western Mendocino National Forest, Eastern Mendocino National Forest, so on and so forth. You tune into it, and you can actually get your weather forecast. Problem with that is, I personally haven't been able to figure out a way to listen to that back here at home. I've only figured out how to do it up in the woods with my scanner. And again, the frequency, and I have all these frequencies in the description. You're welcome to listen to any one of them, but do not broadcast on them. They are not legal for us to use. Those are for Forest Service personnel only. So even though my scanner is actually a transceiver, a transmitter, and a radio, I turn my power all the way down to low just on the off chance it happens to click the mic. It's only going to go a quarter mile. But here's one of the broadcasts. and the frequency.
Southerly winds will diminish this evening and will return on Monday with the strongest gusts in the delta. Warming temperatures along with dry weather is expected tomorrow and the next week. Local breezy north winds will be possible Tuesday and Wednesday with low daytime humidity. Warm and dry conditions continue into the end of the week, but with less wind. For the western Mendocino, tonight sky weather mostly cloudy, then becoming partly cloudy. Light chance of showers in the evening. Minimum temperature valleys lower slopes 43 to 48. Ridges upper slopes 40 to 47. Maximum humidity valleys lower slopes 86 to 100%. Ridges upper slopes 77 to 92%. 20-foot winds, valleys lower slopes, gust winds 5 to 6 miles per hour evening, becoming light wind 2 to 4 miles per hour. Ridges upper slopes, west winds 5 to 7 miles per hour. LA over 1. Gust winds 0 break.
Okay, so with that break, that's them signaling that I'm pausing on this transmission. That doesn't mean that it's over. It just means that that portion of the transmission is over. But you do not need to read the frequency 169.975. It's in the description of this live stream. So you can go there and get the admin, the forest service, fire, and there's one other. They're in there. But this 169.975, which I have in parentheses, says weather. That's the one you tune into at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. to get the weather for the Mendocino National Forest. These radios were fairly inexpensive, well worth every penny. The other thing that was, I don't want to put words to it. We were up there, I think it was Saturday, either Friday or Saturday. We finished our shoot, and I turned the radios back on because I keep them on all the time on fire and I think it's admin. Whatever this one is, the 975, and they were talking about a missing person, Smokehouse Trail, and well, I'm an hour away, but it was still like, oh man, what do I do? It's like part of me felt like I should go take the drone and see if I could help out, but knowing with the wind and knowing it was an hour drive, I was just concerned that I'd be in the way. So the nice part about this is it gives you a way to keep in touch and keep an idea what's going on out there. And it was sad to hear somebody was missing, but they were found safe and sound. So two-way radios, really good. The ones with the transceivers where you can enter your frequencies in are awesome, absolutely awesome. Here's a picture of us at the campsite. We're here at the sign says Simpson Camp up on the tree there. It's 40 degrees. Yeah. So quickie little video that'll be made into several. Back to screen sharing. Turning this off. Yeah, it was pretty wet. So at any rate, that's how you can get your weather forecasts. If anybody knows how to get that forecast or listen to that frequency here, I'd be grateful. Again, I did put all the stuff, the links that I've shown you, the roads, links to the locations, they're all in the descriptions, the fire restrictions and whatnot, they're all in there. Yes, I'm very much open to doing a group site or a group meetup, whether it's just a couple people or more. Absolutely. I just need to know how many people are in on this, and let's see what we can make happen. Also, where people are watching from and we want to go to. But I have quite a few. If people are willing to screen share here, share. If others are willing to go in this general vicinity, I could fill your day a couple of different days at least, if not 3 of them, of with a map of here, go here, 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 and here, and then let's meet up here at night and hang out. Excuse me. Let's and then go here, 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 here the next day, so on and so forth. There's a lot of roads. I think I talked about this one last time. This one right here, right where the M4 meets, this 24 N02. It goes around the side of the mountain here, because the top is like somewhere right around in here, the top of the pass. But this goes all the way around through over to here, and man, that's a fun run. The road is not too brutal, so it's not, you're not driving super slow and getting beat up. driving around, it's pretty smooth. I had a great time on that one. We talked about a campsite that was off of Kildry. Yeah, so right in here there was a dispersed campsite. Right here, next to Kildry off 24N02. Really easy to find. It touches the FH7 at both sides. A great way to go. So I've been here before when you couldn't make the pass. It was the snow was still too deep. You could get around either way through this one or 22N11. I'm still memorizing all these N numbers. My God, there's so many. The 24N November 02 goes all the way around. So if you find the top is covered in snow, you can get around it that way. Or check out 22N11, which is right here. The nicer part about this one here, though, give me the road number. 22, was it 24N02? Okay, well, I'm going to make you sick, unfortunately, here. Sorry about that. It joins in further downhill, if you will, of FH7. So you're more likely to get around the top if you're looking for, like me, to do a day trip up to Pleasant Meadows to go fishing. But you find that the pass is not passable because of snow. That's a detour you can make. And out of the two, I would take the one on the north side, much faster. It's a lot longer, but it's going to be a lot faster. Plus, it's just a nice drive. So this is opening back up. I hope they stock the pond again. And I was reading earlier that these are both 4 acres each, and there's trout in both of them. I have never seen anybody fish this one. I don't know how many times I've taken people here. This is a fun spot to take people when I bring new people out to the woods and they want to go fishing or see something really cool. This is one of the spots I take them, and I've never seen anybody fish here. I just never have. So if you've caught anything in that lake, I want to know about it, please. If you're on FishBrain, somehow tag me in the posts. So if we go remove. Yeah, so I don't, those are the new places I've been to. Selective logging up into here. But again, this is a fabulous place. The other spot I'm thinking of doing Tom, a multiple person trip is that Oak Knoll spot, because there's actually cell coverage there. And I know there's a lot of people out there that unfortunately is make or break for a camping trip. So we might be staying over in there. But the other one I was thinking of doing for the kid-friendly stuff is over at here, Howard Lake. I'd actually thought about staying right here because you could swim over here technically and could fish in here. And there are some N roads, but there's not nearly as much to explore around here. You got the M roads and a few N roads, but not nearly as much as over up off FH7. So that's why we may be staying in the same location, but each time we stay there, we're exploring more and more and more. We're broadening our horizons and checking out new roads. This is a spot that's worth checking out. You can definitely do Howard Lake in a day from Santa Rosa area, no problem. So we're thinking of doing one in 2, maybe 3 weeks at most, right here, and making it an emphasis on kids. So if you want to get out and join us, this would be a good one to come to. Real easy to get to. The M1's pretty forgiving. Doesn't take much of a vehicle to get out there. But again, I like this area just because of the amount of stuff to do, the amount of stuff to see and enjoy. So when we do it, it's probably going to be over in here. With that said, we'll switch this back off again. So with that said, thank you for watching. Thumbs up, please. A comment is a huge help. I'm not sponsored in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not at 1,000 subscribers, so I don't get paid for any of this. This is just me. Oh, you can't see the map. Oh, seriously? Okay, well, let's see if we can redo that. Which map was I just on? It's here. So, yeah, I hope you can see that. So, yeah, again, up off FH7, we got a lot of N roads, a whole lot to see, a lot to do. I could keep people planned different routes for probably 3 days versus up off the M1. Nice spot, but not as much to do. So Little Doe Campground is probably where we're going to be going near Howard Lake. because there's a lot of room over in there, and it does allow a lot of hoping to get more people to come that are less camping friendly, that might not have might require vault toilets, might not want to be a tree hugger and dig a hole. Well, I want them to come. So there are vault toilets in this neighborhood over in here. So with that said, thank you so much for chiming in. Please, if you have any questions, unimportant. Yes. So there's a lot going on. I hope you guys didn't miss too much of that. That's why I love having Daniel or Dylan on as somebody to help keep track of what's going on in the background. You can hit me up on Facebook, send me a message if you have any questions, if you'd like me to drop you a link, or if you have a question, if you're new to camping, or if you'd like a suggestion of a place to go in this area. If I know of a spot, be glad to tell you. Be glad to share the information with you. So feel free to reach out. Some of my posts on Facebook are public, and if you see something on there, then please feel free to comment. If you see something while you're out exploring in the Mendocino National Forest you think is awesome and you'd like to share, please tag me in the photograph. Drop me the coordinates if you don't mind me sharing in this live stream. Please, I would encourage you to get a hold of me and stay in touch. We are already working on our trip in 2 to 3 weeks, and then working on the one that's about a month out, and then who knows from there. So if you'd like to be a part of those, drop me a line on Facebook and let's see if we can meet up. I love meeting new people, and let's broaden everybody's horizons. So with that said, I greatly appreciate all your guys' time, and I look forward to seeing the next live stream. Cheers.